Council, August 3rd, 2020 at 5 p.m. to order. And if you would, Mayor, Pro Tem Bailey.
Heavenly Father, watch over all of our decisions we make tonight in the city, making them the best interest of our city and the city employees. Take care of our first responders and our troops overseas and in the States. In your name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. City Secretary, roll call, please.
Mayor Bailey,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Baden,
Here.
Councilmember Bourne,
Here.
Councilmember Collier,
Here.
Councilmember Thomas.
Here.
Thank you, ma'am. I'd like to welcome all the guests tonight. First item will be item 4 will be the approval of the minutes to July 20th, 2020, regular city council meeting.
Mayor, make a motion that we approve the minutes as written for the July 20th, 2022 council meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes as dated July 20th, 2020 for regular city council meeting. Any questions or comments over the minutes? Mayor votes aye. Mayor Pro Tem Baden. Councilmember Barnes.
Aye.
Councilmember Collier.
Aye.
Councilmember Tice.
Aye.
The approval of the minutes dating July 20th, 2020. Any citizen comments or reports? Item 5A will be city manager and department budget presentations.
Mayor and Council, this is going to be basically an overview of our budget. It is in draft form, and there are still several things that we have to wait on before we can make a final budget. So there won't be any presentation by department heads tonight, but there will be an overview of all the funds and kind of an update on where everything stands. If a lot of you are familiar with the term effective tax rate, that's what the county would calculate to see what we could do with our tax rate. Well, the effective tax rate is no longer in effect. It's given way to something called the 3.5% increase in revenues. So now we're waiting for the county to let us know if our revenues increase by more than 3.5%, we may need to look at an election in order to do that. However, we don't know what that's going to be yet. We have left the tax rate the same. We feel like, based on our past history, that we should be under the 3.5% of revenue, but that's yet to be seen. So right now, I'm going to just kind of go over the budget in an overview, just to kind of let council and the people that are here know what's going on. And it's going to be basically a draft budget, and it's still not anywhere near final until we get the information in from the county on where we stand with the increase. Basically, the biggest difference that we have in this year's budget, if you look under the budget letter, is besides natural disasters and a difficult but improving economy in a landlocked city, we now have a pandemic to deal with. So luckily, we have yet to see the pandemic cause us any problems with our sales tax revenue. And we'll be getting our next sales tax revenue report in probably in about a week or two. The good news is, if you'll go down to the first paragraph, second paragraph, after 4 consecutive years of value increasing in the 2018-2019 budget showing a decrease in values due to Hurricane Harvey, this budget has resumed the increase in new values. The new construction has placed over $98 million of value on the tax roll since 2015. The 2020 certified tax roll shows that for 2021 budget, our values are certified at $822,611,319. That's up by $44,519,614. And of that, $10,361,939 was new construction, either residential or commercial, and the $34,157,675 was increase in existing values. So that's good news. We're getting our values up, which helps us to keep our tax rate stable and keep it lower. Of course, we're always trying to see what we can do to improve the budget, to do more with less. And this budget's objective is to fund the services required by the citizens at a competitive cost and with available financing resources. Management's challenge remains to increase and improve productivity, efficient city services and infrastructure, as well as recognize and develop employee strength, contributions, and compensation while maintaining fair and just tax and user rates. In addressing these objectives, the city will strive to act in the best interest of the citizens of Rose. We feel this budget is a positive step in the attainment of those objectives. Okay, on the second page, once again, we're just going to basically look at the revenues. The revenues generated with this kind of value are $11,052,710 at our current tax rate, which we hope to keep at that same level. The $10,696,410 represents an increase of $356,300 over last year's operating revenues. So our operating revenues are up from last year based on our values by $356,300. Basically, I'm going to go down to general fund because the tax values and the tax rates are still up in the air until we get that information from the county. Once again, this year's general fund costs will increase by $356,300 over the current budget. The increase in expenditures is primarily due to proposed step increase for eligible employees to the wage and salary plan, in addition to the city recommending that the lowest step for labor on the wage and salary plan be eliminated. We did that last year. We will do it again this year. This will allow the city to be more competitive on entry-level employees, and that is becoming harder to find in the current economy and labor market. The estimated cost for these increases is $430,000. The elimination of 1.5 employees in the current budget is allowed for a $90,000 reallocation to wage and salary increases, making the net cost of this step increase $340,000. This budget also adds another $126,000 to the street budget for a total line item for streets of $826,000. That particular line item has nearly tripled since 2018 and incorporates contractors, curb work, and work schedule for streets in the program budget. We're going to be focusing on our streets, curbs, and more asphalt where practical. Capital outlay, our equipment replacement this year is proposed at $308,000 for all departments in general fund. These are capital acquisitions with the exception of heavy equipment that must be purchased in order to continue the work program and ensure the productivity of the city departments. These items range from books for the library to computer software to purchase of patrol cars and utility trucks to firefighter equipment. And that's a little bit less than we spent last year, Mayor. Solid waste fund. We do not anticipate any increase in the solid waste fund cost. The revenues are estimated at $1,725,000, and we expect our charge to remain at $1996 tax included. Capital outlay. This is solid waste fund. There is a major purchase of a trash truck scheduled for the 2021 budget in the amount of $200,000. This will be the second we replace in 2 years, as the other was replaced in the current budget. So we've got a trash truck on the way for this budget at $200,000, and we want to buy another trash truck in the upcoming budget at another $200,000. These will replace those two that we got in 2005 for Hurricane Rita that we have just worn the heck out of, and these are very much needed. So in any event, we're able to do that and keep our rate at 1996. Transfers. There is one transfer in the amount of $391,000 to city franchise fee. The city treats the solid waste fund as we would treat any other utility fund where there's a fee collected, and the franchise fee is charged back to the city, or given back to the city, in order to pay for the administrative costs that the city provides as far as personnel, as far as the other things that we provide for the solid waste department. Now, system fund is not got the same news. Systems fund is basically our water and sewer. Total revenues are projected from all sources and transfers to be $5,255,238. This estimate is up $233,940 from last year, and it reflects a $1 increase on the water base rate and a 75-cent increase on the sewer base rate for each customer. The city also recommends that the base rate for sewer cover 1,500 gallons instead of 2,000 gallons under the base rate. The increase will add about $3 to all water bills. The average water bill of 5,000 gallons consumption will be $70.18, an increase of $3.12, and generated an additional estimated $275,000 in revenue. I believe Councilman or Councilwoman Tice asked how come we've been missing our estimates on water and sewer. We've been using 7,000 gallons as what we felt was the average water bill. We ran a study just a couple of weeks ago. Our average water bill is closer to 5,000 gallons. And I think at one time it was 7,000 gallons, and I think people are starting to conserve. These newer homes have better toilets and low flows and different things of this nature. So past budgets have used 7,000 gallons as an average for calculation of revenue. Recent reports have shown the average bill is closer to between 4,000 and 5,000 gallons. This increase should put the city revenue projections closer to using the 5,000 gallon average. Now, what we have also done is, in an effort to help water customers that qualify for leak adjustments, the utility department will also recommend that future water leak adjustments will include discounting the water portion of the bill, not just the sewer portion of the bill. And we think that's fair because of the fact that water is not as cheap as it was 10 or 15 years ago. It is becoming more and more expensive. In systems fund for capital outlay, we have $129,000 budget for capital outlay. There's an additional $150,000 budgeted for new meters and parts to repair and replace aging meters and actually aging meter registers. We do have a transfer from systems at $1,518,000 to general fund as their franchise fee, but we do not plan to take anything out of that for debt service or for any other items. Going to debt retirement. The debt retirement for this year is $572,750, and this is down from what it was 2 years ago, from $1,627,448. If you'll turn the page, this debt requirement, or excuse me, this debt service will pay totally with property tax revenue, and that is already budgeted. We look at in the 2019